found the Laid Off Lads podcast, where three average guys from Central Florida discuss anything but average topics and have all the time to do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Laid Off Lads podcast. As always, with me on the Skype and the other line, I have Mr. Christopher Boyce. Not wearing his American flag hat today. A little bit weird and a little bit dark today.
But the
There's
logo,
American flag in the
yeah, it's there. And I got my dinosaur shirt on.
Whatever happened to the Bitcoin shirt?
No, I only wore that once. That was a one-time deal.
Yeah, but where is it now?
It's in a drawer.
Okay, so since you're so bad at doing anything on Instagram, because you post like one story 14 times, but it's the exact same story.
I thought I deleted it after I tried to post a story because I wanted the post to be the video, and it ended up turning into just a still image of it. So I'm like, delete, try it again. But apparently it didn't delete, so I posted 3 stories. I hate that.
It doesn't work that way. So because you're so bad at it, you have to devise a giveaway via Instagram for that Bitcoin shirt.
Oh, and it's a worn. It's pod worn, and it'll be signed by you. Man, you really upping the value of this thing.
Yep.
Huh?
Oh, and we have Phil and Gary on the line with us. Sorry, didn't finish the full introductions. Do you think the Bitcoin shirt will become a value that you can then put back into the fake money that Bitcoin is, to then put it into Dogecoin, to then put it into monopoly money, to then turn it around and crash the market, and then put it into AMC and
the way things are collapsing right now, the whole crypto market's taking a shit today. It'll be a vintage T-shirt at some point. Once it all goes away and it collapses, I'm like, hey, here's a vintage T-shirt.
What a giveaway this could be.
I'll hold on to it for like 10 years.
No, that's not the point. You're giving it away.
Yeah, but there's no value to it now. But if all Bitcoin and all that shit just crashes and becomes meaningless, and I hold on to that for another 5-6 years, it'll be a vintage T-shirt. Remember the Bitcoin thing?
How does fake money crash? Exactly.
I don't know. Supply and demand.
My point exactly.
Everything
that
else.
silence just said it all.
Well, to me, it was just
too tired for that type of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a huge, did you guys read today about the huge internet outage, widespread? You guys are probably sleeping, but.
No.
Happened earlier today, like Amazon, Spotify, New York Times, and CNN. So a bunch of places. There was a huge, like, global internet.
Was there internet provided by Spectrum?
Probably. I hate Spectrum.
More than likely.
Exactly, because no wonder they all went out.
Yeah. Is there a way that we can all just uprise and say Spectrum and just like do away with their monopoly on all of Florida? That would be amazing. Can we start signing petitions? We don't have options.
I think we would.
I do in my area. There's one other option in my area that I think
there's like one other option in every area, but it's so minute and so small that it takes like an act of God to even qualify or find that place. And then when they get there, it's okay, well, you don't have these type of systems for it. And then, okay, we'll just go with that because it's the easiest, because they come over, they charge you an arm and a leg, but they can install it and it works in half the time, but they charge you $80 for internet. It goes in and out, and sorry, can't do anything else about it. So,
well, I don't know. Like for my apartment complex, Spectrum was the only thing that they offered.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is bull. I don't want Spectrum. I'm not happy with Spectrum. I want a discount on my actual rent because you're forcing me to get shitty Spectrum, which is going to raise my blood pressure, and I want you to take care of my medical bills as well.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how it goes nowadays.
So if
any of you guys are thinking of moving to Central Florida, you can just say off and go south to where, you get AT&T or Frontier as a primary cable carrier.
Not wrong.
Say no to Spectrum. Start the hashtag now.
So the thing got me thinking. Do you guys remember a time where there was no internet? Because there's an age gap between us. It's like 10 years between me and Ferris.
I remember dial-up.
But have you ever lived without it?
Oh, yeah.
Because my thought was, all right, say the internet crashes for a day, 2 days, however long it may be, and how we have to adjust and adopt to it. And
adapt.
Yeah, I don't know why I said adopt.
Are you thinking about adopting?
I was thinking of Ferris. I need to adopt Ferris because he's in rough shape right now.
Thank
You
you.
need some hugs, man. Yeah, you look like
he needs a morning hug.
Yes, 100%. A morning hug would be amazing every day.
Yeah, I got mine right before the pod.
All right, can we stop talking about my sad life right now and continue?
We'll come back to it.
Story?
We'll come back to your sad
100%.
life. Okay. We need.
But there was a time where I had to, when you're paying bills, you got to write the check, put it in the envelope, put a stamp on it, and I remember a time with no internet. Like we had said
those
before,
were simpler times. Those were better times.
Right. So I didn't know if
no.
calls a time without the internet.
Internet was around since
early.
Yeah, but it wasn't readily available in homes. It wasn't available in homes though. Like that was you had like dial-up was like the first thing that people had of patching into internet that ran through your phone's service. But like prior to that, yes, internet and
Wi-Fi
that was around.
Wi-Fi was not around for the longest time.
There was no Wi-Fi. There was no internet. Like it wasn't available.
Wi-Fi was not around for the longest time. Internet was available.
Barely. Everything buffered. If you wanted to look at porn and you wanted to pull up one image, that image went beep incrementally, bit by bit over the course of like 30 seconds until the image image was finally there. Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope you go from bottom to top rather than top to bottom.
And all the
nowadays you'd be sorely surprised.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2021.
Fuck off. Anyways, no, I do not remember a time where there was no internet. You know, like me, I'm 31, so I mean, I just kind of, I guess, grew into it. But you were probably in high school. Like I didn't receive my first cell phone until I was in high school. Nowadays, kids are receiving cell phones in elementary school.
Yeah. I was out of college before.
That's when you actually like had to talk to women and like, get out there and have conversations in person. You can't just swipe left and right or, throw out some slut ass images on Instagram and hope that
slut ass images.
Yeah, I can trademark that.
Trying to get a hold of somebody, call them, and there's a busy signal, and you're like, there's no way to get in touch with people other than the phone.
No, I was part of the AOL AIM days to where you had to AIM message someone that you liked and really hope that they liked you back. Or you had to like find some badass song to put on your MySpace profile. That would just
loved MySpace. We gotta bring that back. We need to bring MySpace back, but introduce MySpace to our new internet service. Tom's internet service, and that's going to go all throughout Florida.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You can continue talking. I know my MySpace screen name.
I'm surprised that MySpace didn't do better than Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those, because like you could customize it, you could do what you want. Like it actually taught people how to do somewhat of like coding.
Yeah.
Like Tom was
music. People go to your page, have music, a background. They would have been good, but Facebook bought them out. It's the whole monopoly thing.
It's like Facebook didn't buy MySpace, did they?
I thought they
did.
No, I thought Facebook bought Instagram. I don't think they bought MySpace. I think they just kicked MySpace's ass.
Somebody bought it.
Well, regardless, they let if Facebook bought out MySpace, they really let MySpace take a shit then.
Well, that's
what they're doing now.
Yeah, that's
all these huge companies are just buying people out.
Is anyone out there still using MySpace? Does anyone still communicate via MySpace?
I think it's actually somewhat big in like musical groups, like not like Broadway musical, but like artists and stuff, because you can add songs, it's like a SoundCloud type thing. I think I could be entirely wrong on that, but
Rupert Murdoch's News Corp bought MySpace and its parent company Intermix in 2009 for $580 million.
What a scam!
Oh,
Rupert Murdoch went with Facebook.
Tom got away with murder. That's fantastic.
Nobody. I can't name one person who's like, yo, check out my MySpace. Not one. No social media marketing, nothing on MySpace.
Murdoch is on MySpace.
Dude's trying to revive nothing. I found my profile. I just can't. I can't look at anything because it doesn't adapt to iPhone. It doesn't have that type of technology yet. I have to go on my 98 Windows in order to pull it up.
That's the same
This
computer.
says you can find your own MySpace page. Can I find my old MySpace? Search myspace.com, then enter your name into the search bar, and voila, there's your old profile. You do not need to know your old password or create a new password to access any public accounts. Holy
that.
No, I think I know mine. Like if you're on, let me see if I can just pull it up on the desktop if my picture actually shows, because I know my username like an idiot.
I don't know. I don't know any. I can't remember any of it. Like I know I had it, but I don't remember any of it. I know what my name is, so I guess I could go that route. But I don't know what my username on MySpace was.
No, I don't. My photos aren't loading. Probably because it's not the photo size or something isn't compatible anymore. Good old MySpace. Anyways,
Italian ice.
Italian ice.
Dude, I love some gelato. You ever been to Italy?
Yeah.
Like you had authentic gelato?
Yep. Ooh. I remember buying it, sitting at a curb and just eating away as it was melting down my arm. It was great. Gelato.
On your arm.
Did you call it?
Oh, I got a big one. It was like on a cone type thing, and so it was hot. So you're trying to keep up with it, but it's melting everywhere.
How did it get down your arm?
It was like in a cone, a waffle cone.
You're holding it. It's gonna go down
okay, but that'll go down your hand. How's it go down your arm?
Your hand's attached to your arm.
Yeah.
Are you holding it up like the Statue of Liberty, like trying to catch it as it drips? What are you doing?
Showing people.
He's an American in Italy. Of course, he was holding up like a Statue of Liberty
with his American flag hat.
Yeah,
he had the green dress and everything.
The beer, Ferris.
I'm going with.
Oh, you're actually drinking a beer? Oh.
No, I'm going with Starbucks this morning.
Why don't you drink a beer, Ferris?
Got a little banged up last night, so I didn't really have beer, but it's not really in the mood to have a beer right now. I guess I could.
You're always in the mood to have a beer.
You're not wrong, but it's called peer pressure, and I'm not gonna
take a little nap after the pod. What's an ideal time to nap? Do you guys have like a window where it's either
there is none. Any time is a good time.
For me, I'd say about like 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's usually my window to like sit down, or anytime baseball's on. Anytime baseball's on, that's nap time right there.
That's Sunday golf.
Golf is
great. On the couch, watching golf on a
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
Doze off to that.
Golf, baseball, NASCAR.
Yeah.
Any one of those sports are perfect to nap because you can watch the first like 5-10 minutes. Get, all right, I'm into the sport. Nap, wake up hours later, and watch the end of it.
My grandfather used to do that when we were kids. He'd be watching golf on a Sunday, laying down on the couch, and he had a cigarette. And he'd just sort of sit there, and he'd sort of pass out, but still holding the cigarette. My brother and I would watch as the ash got bigger and bigger, and we'd wait to see how long it'd get before the ash finally fell. It's amazing how long those ashes will get if you don't move.
Mm. It's a fun fact, everybody.
Fun fact.
How long do you think until baseball finally goes extinct?
Baseball's awesome, dude. I love baseball.
It's not going
to go anywhere. It's America's sport.
It's not America's sport. It's America's dying sport.
It's not dying.
I'd say that soccer has surpassed baseball now. I would hands down say.
No,
I would hands down say that.
Soccer is.
I don't think I agree with that quite yet, but I think it's on its way to happening.
Soccer has a very specific fan base that are rabid and huge fans, but it's still a microcosm of the overall sports.
And this is where the age gap thing comes into play. Okay, because you're still in Babe Ruth era to where baseball is the greatest sport in the world. No,
hockey is
not anymore. No, hockey's great. Hockey's awesome. It's hard hitting. I'm sorry, but anyone can play baseball. I can firmly tell you that. When I worked at a batting school, and I could launch balls that are just going 95 mile an hour. Launch them. I don't work out. I don't need steroids. I can launch balls, nuke them out of the park. Doesn't matter. Anyone can play baseball. I'm sorry. Baseball's for people who couldn't grow up out of t-ball. I'm not a fan of baseball. Anyone can play it.
What's the best playoffs that we have here between baseball, basketball, football, hockey?
Hockey, man. I've said it for as long as I can remember, man. playoff hockey is one of the greatest things to watch. Even if you're not a huge fan of hockey, you see the difference in the dynamic between the crowd, the level of intensity, the level of physicality. Because during the season, it's a grind. So from a physical standpoint, hockey is definitely trailed off the open ice hitting and the crazy physicality of it. But come playoff time, man, it's game on, dude.
I can agree with you on that. I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I'll be damned. Last year I was watching the playoffs and I was like, ooh, I get into this.
Yeah, and that wasn't
it
even
was
with
fun
fans
to watch.
last year.
It's true. But I think any playoff experience like surpasses anything. Anything. I mean, because the crowd is just so into it. I mean, it's usually like sold out every single game. Doesn't matter what it is. People show up for playoffs. If your team's good enough, people will show up for playoffs. Playoffs, yeah.
Everybody gets a T-shirt in the crowd, so everybody's the same color, and it's just.
I would say that the top one is going to be any collegiate sport, because college kids just bring a completely different vibe.
You talking about playoffs or just overall?
Playoffs, or any college, like any college football big game.
But there wasn't even college playoffs up until the last few years.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying any college big game. I'm not just saying playoffs for college. Any college big game. Like if you go to like a Florida State game.
That's not playoffs.
That's why I just said like 3 times. Drink some water.
From a crowd standpoint, yeah. But I think from the game itself, if you want to look like
hydrate.
Playoff hockey, the game itself takes on an entirely different intensity in addition to the crowd. But football is always football. You're not going to see a football team that's like, holy, these guys are really amped, because football is football. You run the ball down the middle, and it doesn't really go anywhere. That's just where it's going. But
hockey, I guess you're kind of right.
The game itself elevates. Baseball,
it's just more fast pace. Football kind of goes at its own pace. I mean, you can slow the game down, you can speed it up, you can have big plays, but hockey's just nonstop. I mean, back and forth, just fast pace. I enjoy that aspect of it.
Well, and it's also it's one of the, unlike football or some others, it's where one hit or one fight can completely change the tide of an entire series.
And you can watch any series. You know, if I don't have a vested interest, my team isn't in the playoffs. Right now, I'm watching every hockey game, dude, because it's just like, it doesn't matter what team you're watching. The level of the caliber of what you're going to get is going to be huge regardless. Irregardless.
Who do you think is going to win the entire thing there, boys?
I think the Avalanche. Colorado's just insane.
I don't think there's a team in the NHL that can beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in a 7-game series.
Would you care to wager?
Sure.
How much?
That fancy Bitcoin shirt that you.
Deal.
All right, Ferris, what are you wagering?
The 2-gun set dart gun from Target that I still have, that I even moved places with, that is still underneath of my bed. It could be yours if the Colorado Avalanche win and the Tampa Bay Lightning do not.
All right.
Done. Mark it down.
Mark it down. Notepad.
Do you think sports, I mean, kind of going with sports and like betting, do you think sports is better for the betting aspect or worse for the betting aspect?
What do you mean?
I mean,
no, I think it's the opposite.
Does betting and Vegas help sports or hurt sports? You can draw an argument with both. Like, Babe Ruth's not going to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame because he bet on sports. He bet on his teams. He bet in the, whatever.
Pete Rose.
But there is, what's that?
It was Pete Rose, not Babe Ruth.
Pete Rose. Who the hell did I say?
Babe Ruth is my era.
No, he just said Babe Ruth. Yeah, sorry. Still a little foggy from last night.
Drink some water.
Thank you. But also, the amount of money that is involved and the amount of interest between FanDuel, DraftKings, setting lines, over-unders.
Super Bowl makes it better, because if you don't have a vested interest in a game, then once you put money on the line, now you're totally invested in a game that you otherwise wouldn't.
That's correct. That's why I took a avid interest in basketball this past year. And I mean, I can tell you every player on every team now, just because I put some money on certain games or did DFS lineups on it, and it makes you more interested and intrigued in it. And then as you start watching it more, you become a fan of the sport and pick your team, pick your players, find out what you know, and except for baseball.
Favorite sport to bet on?
Me?
Baseball.
Football.
Baseball?
Yeah, baseball is so easy because it's all about the pitcher.
Well, but you always do that. Like, don't you every year do that, like, over-under games with boxes or something, boys, with a team?
Yeah, for baseball. I haven't done it this year, but yeah, the over-under bet.
And what do you say yours was, Phil?
Football.
I
think I know football a bit more, and you can gauge mismatches a little bit better. So say that a wide receiver is going against like a cornerback, like you can pretty much guarantee that the ball will be thrown to him or targeting him.
Football, I think, is harder because the Vegas is so fucking spot on with their point spreads. The majority of the time with football, you look at the spread and you look at the outcome, you're like, how the hell do they do that?
Crazy, yep.
That's what makes it harder because Vegas is just so spot on. There's a small margin for error on how that game's going to go.
Computers.
Algorithms. But for baseball, it's all about the pitcher.
Why in baseball, though? Like, I think I'd be way more involved or interested in baseball if they cut the damn games in half. Or if you didn't have 200 game seasons. Because what pisses me off about baseball is there's no standout team. I'm sorry, there's not. Every single team is like 122 and 121. Oh, this one's 123 and 120. Every single team is like 50-50. I won 50% of my games. I lost 50% of the games. It's bull. There's no like standout team. It's all luck. It's trash.
There are standout teams, but there are very few. You
gets
got
me heated.
The Padres, the Yankees, the Red Sox, but
I thought that's culture teams. Those are culture
I thought
teams.
Last year's MLB season was fantastic because what they do 60 games.
Mm-hmm.
60 games, the perfect amount. Like you had to bring it every day. Playoffs were great. Like,
what are people interested in there? Fans are interested in one thing there, and that's catching a ball. If you made baseball, every single game, or at least had before or after a game, a home run derby, more people would show up because all you want to do is just catch a damn ball.
Well, but that's part of the reason that what's wrong with baseball. There's no, like, Boyce is right. It's pitching. We've had more no hitters this year than any year that I can think of. But all a batter's trying to do now is not put the ball in play, not try to bunt to advance the runner to second. They're just swinging for the fence every time. So like strikeouts are so up right now that people's ERAs are complete. But who cares because they have 37 home runs, but they struck out 200 times.
Correct. Baseball. There's no skill towards hitting a ball. There's no.
I disagree. I disagree. There is 100% skill to that.
You can read your pitcher. It's almost like taking timeout. It's exactly like taking a penalty kick every single time. That is exactly what it is. If I can correlate it to soccer because it's one-on-one. It's not though.
There's a skill taking a penalty kick. Yes, 100%.
You read the person that is right in front of you. If there's a batter, you are reading what the batter does, how he usually hits, how he.
There's still skill to that. There's still skill about how you hit a ball, where you go up and you can anchor the ball in the back of net. You put it up and.
Okay, 90, but you read exactly.
You hit a curveball that there's 100% skill to it. I get what you're saying that you can read the person and that's part of the sporting aspect of it. But there's still skill to it. I can't hit a 95-year-old or 95 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah, but the skill is how much juice you can take. So if you start juicing up now, Ferris, by all means, give it 6 months and you'll be able to hit a 100-mile-an-hour ball out of the park every time.
Yeah, the pitches of these days have so much movement on the ball.
You look at players like Cal Ripken. As far as we know,
Harper,
he didn't choose. But there is skill to that. There is 100% skill to hitting a ball. Now,
I agree on that.
You can even break it down where there are. Yeah, but there are people that they didn't like baseball prior to this year and as of recent. They would switch hit. They would They would put the ball into play. They would wait for the shift to happen and then hit it in into the left field. And they could put the ball into play anywhere they wanted. That's skill to do that with a bat and a ball coming at you at 95 miles.
But that's not what it is nowadays. It's nothing like that.
Well, the teams that advance far, that's what it is. Like the Dodgers and Rays last year, 100%. They
got a good combination of both, though. They got the power hitters and they got the small ball guys who know how to slap it to get on base to allow the power hitters to drive them all home. You have to have that diversity. But Major League Baseball actually made adjustments to the ball this year because there were so many home runs last year. All that offense just makes the games longer. So baseball is actively trying to find a way to make the game shorter because they're like 3.5 hours now. Some of them hit 4+. Exactly. So they dumb down the ball to make it harder to hit home runs and more pitcher friendly.
But people don't want to see defense. People want to see balls being knocked out of the park. And that's why I'm saying it's a dying sport.
But that's the case with any sport, though.
It's not.
Look at the NBA. 100% it is. Look at the NBA. The only things that you see right now are people shooting from 4 feet behind the 3-point line and dunks. Yep. That's it.
That's Steph Curry.
You don't see
Steph Curry.
No. Well, he may have patented that, but everybody does it. The Joker sits behind the dude's 7 foot and won't get his ass in the paint half the time. Mm-hmm. Like you
can drill threes
the only time that you see any defense in the NBA is right now. Playoffs. That's it. Other than that, that's a fucking boring ass sport to watch the entire season because all they do is come, they cross half court, and they just jack it up. Jack it up. So every sport has kind of like developed into nobody gives a about a third and one in football anymore. But what they want to see is a 76-yard go route for a touchdown, so Odell Beckham can snatch it out of one hand and then spike the ball and then grab his balls and run off the field. Like
football's definitely become a passing.
Every sport has adapted to just going to what the fans want to see and develop towards that way.
I say legalize steroids.
Baseball prefer that.
Legalize them.
You're very passionate about your stick and balls, Ferris. So I'm just gonna. You're very defensive over it.
I'm not even that big of a fucking baseball fan. Why am I defending baseball?
I don't know. Baseball's stupid. That's all I'm saying.
Help me out here a little bit.
I love baseball. I love it. I love the fact that it is 162 games because there's such a huge gap between football season, basketball season, hockey, that sort of covers the gap. It fills the void of sports. So
so we'll call it that. It's a void sport. That's fine. I'm okay with calling it that. A pointless void sport. If it disappeared, I'd be more than happy to just turn on my TV and watch NASCAR. I'd rather watch NASCAR than baseball.
Let's watch a bunch of cars go in a circle for 3 hours, hoping for a crash. That's all NASCAR is. We're going to watch cars go in a circle.
Prove my
and just
point about
wait
that's
for the
what people
crash.
want to see.
Talladega
Talladega
doing exciting.
190 in a 15-car pileup with cars doing a flip in the air.
Yeah,
that's how it makes sports sense.
The small one. What's the small one? It's in North Carolina. It's like
no, that's that one's actually fun to. I don't remember what that one's called. No, Daytona and Talladega were like the super plate races or restrictor plate or whatever it was. These massive, cathedrals of pavement that they would just go 190 around.
Yeah, but the casual fan is just looking for the crash.
Yeah,
diehards are really into their driver and all that. But
it's still more exciting than anything baseball will bring.
Yeah, but you can't guarantee it. You could be watching for an hour just hoping for something to happen and nothing does.
What pisses me off also is when you hit a home run, just walk back to your dugout. Why you got to go around the bases? Just walk back to the dugout. Cool. Why you got to run around the bases? Why? It's pointless. It's stupid. It's a waste of my time. Just walk back to the dugout. Next one come out. You want to do shorter games? Do that.
Yeah, but you can make eye contact with the pitcher and talk some shit, and it's sort of like, I get that though. I mean, they got rid of the intentional walk. You just say, "Hey, I'm walking the guy," and he goes to base.
So let him celebrate on the home plate. That's it. Let him do a move on the home plate. Okay. Let him throw some jabs.
Stand there, do a little tango or something, and just head back to the dugout.
Correct.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
So, what would your walk-up song be if you were a baseball player?
If I was a baseball player, it wouldn't be a song because I wouldn't be caught dead playing. I played T-ball.
What would your
walk-up
song be?
I was an All-American
T-ball.
That's an all-American T-ball
Let's go
player.
on his
Baby.
resume. All-star T-ball player.
Started being recruited.
Boys, now
And
you
at
have
a
to
pre-K.
write Phil a letter of recommendation, but the first line has to be something about being an all-star in T-ball. Outstanding candidate, because at age 5, he was an all-star at T-ball. His career has then progressed to, and then just go into actual professional.
Hands down, I get a job.
100%.
100% I'd get a job. Hey, babe, we got to meet this guy. We got to meet
the way
him.
Boyce writes like those type of things, when you would absolutely get a job.
I wouldn't know.
I'll write one for the website, since you still don't have a bio for the website.
That's true.
You can write my bio. That's fine.
Didn't you write one, Boyce?
I did. It's on the site.
Yeah.
No. For Phil.
for
I thought
Phil.
you wrote one for Phil. Am I
I was
wrong?
going to. I threatened to if he didn't
Oh,
do
that's
it,
right.
but he's the guy who controls the site. So if I give it to him, it's up to him whether he posts it or not. So I'm like, well, if I write some stupid ass,
Oh, I'll
He's
post
gotta go
anything.
through him.
It's fine.
all right.
We need to start doing some stupid wagers.
So what was your hold on, we get back to it. Walk-up song for baseball. Like some
I told you I
Pavarotti
wouldn't
or
have one. I wouldn't have one because I wouldn't play.
that's not the question.
Hypothetically.
I would have a warm-up song that I would always listen to before my soccer games.
What okay.
Like back
so
in
would
high
that
school.
be your like walk-up song to the plate before you nuke a ball out of the field, as you said?
No. Do they have walk-up songs?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Everybody
big.
does.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Big. Yeah.
Especially
No,
like the
it's
Mexican and
stupid.
Dominican players, where you just hear dun, 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 as they're walking up. And it's like, expect a pinata to drop, and they just swing it
Boys,
back instead.
what would yours be?
Mine would be "Sad But True" from Metallica. That entrance is awesome. The beginning of that song is awesome.
He was right there with it too.
Don't they have that for
Metallica's got a lot of
Virginia
songs that are good.
Virginia Tech? I think that's they're like coming out of the tunnel song.
Is it?
I'm caught into two worlds, because
T-Swift.
one, you want some badass, like Metallica, like Enter Sandman, like that was what's his name for the like just awesome, like just f***ing pumped. On the other hand, like some like Weird Al living in an Amish paradise when you like go up to bat would just get everybody like, what the f*** is happening?
That's true.
Like you can go like, or I don't know, do like a kid song,
I don't even know if it serves a purpose. I can't imagine the guys who are
No,
going up
it's-
to plate are like, yeah, I wasn't ready for this at bat, but I am now. But it gives you a sort of a insight to the personality of each person who's come up to the plate.
Because like the ones I can think of are definitely Enter Sandman was a big one, but he wasn't. I mean, he just came in to pitch, but that was like, you're done. Like the game's over.
Who
He
was
comes
that?
in.
Was that Papelbon, or was that
No, that was what's it?
Mariano Rivera?
Rivera. Yeah.
God, he was good.
He was great.
Anyone can
Evan
play.
Longoria had has a very iconic one that we would hear all the time. I don't remember what the song was, but you would. There are some like iconic ones out there that you have.
Yeah. Eva Longoria.
Even Longoria. Well, what did I say?
Eva. No, you said it right, but they
Oh, I
used to
did.
call her Eva, like the actress,
Yes.
instead of Evan.
Yes.
Anyone can play baseball.
That's not.
Anyone.
If anyone could do it, then why aren't you making $10.2 million per game?
I could. If I applied myself and just went to work out, I guarantee you. Anyone can. That's why Michael Jordan, he's like, hey,
No.
we're onto something here. Let me just go out here.
Baseball is
You're
one of
telling
the
me I can go
hardest.
out. You're telling me I can go out in the outfield and like get paid to go eat sunflower seeds? I could literally sit crisscross applesauce out there and build a sandcastle all fucking day and just wait for a ball to be hit my direction? Absolutely. Oh, I have to do just one sprint in the next hour? Sure. Get paid? Let's do it. Fucking joke of a sport. It's not a sport.
Baseball is one of the hardest sports to become a pro.
Agreed.
You've got
I'm standing by
thousands
that.
and thousands of
Agreed.
players in
My point
Triple A,
exactly.
double A,
Thousands
single A.
and Thousands of players. You have players of all shapes and sizes that can go out there and just stand in one fucking spot and just wait for a
Still
ball
skill.
to come. All they do is just smalls it out in the outfield. Just close their eyes and hold their mitten up. Boom, ball goes in. I just made $100,000. Whip do. Throw the ball back to the pitcher. Let's do it again. for another 300 game.
100% about the physicality of that game where you just.
There you go.
That is a great freeze right there.
Spectrum, baby. Spectrum.
He was about to go off too. Oh, that is a great free. Yeah, take a picture of that. That is great.
Oh, that's wonderful. He's gonna come back here soon.
He's gonna come back at some point, but
okay.
I think what he was about to say is, yes, the physicality is a bit of a joke, and you can sit there and you know, spit tobacco all day and do this and whatnot. But to say it's not a skill sport, like, you can't make a ball going 80 miles per hour move and curve and dip. Like, you can go out there as much as you want and like try to do that. That's fucking hard.
Every sport has its own specific set of skills that is catered to everyone. Like, I completely understand that. When is he coming back?
Even he'll be back at some point. I don't know.
Oh,
but even at one point, like, you and I, it's not a mystery that we play soccer. Everybody's like, oh, I played soccer when I was 5. Go out there now and try to ping a ball 30 yards and put it on somebody's foot. It's not easy to do.
It's not. I'm not saying that any average Joe can just go out there and just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be an all-star." But no,
you're right. It has its own
practice.
skills that is just like, it's insane. And the ones that do it extremely well are professionals and get paid to do that for a living. But compared to other sports, yes, baseball is boring. The physicality. Boyce just texted. Fucking internet went out.
There he is.
Well, this is a good podcast.
I wonder if his internet's going to come back up. Maybe his neighbors came back.
Did he say that he has Spectrum, or does he have something else? Let's ask him. Because how...
Knowing him, I don't know. Is it tied to the Chinese in some way? What's he say?
He has no internet at the moment. Just ask him. Just send him a text and ask him if he has Spectrum. Because how funny would that be if he didn't have Spectrum? We have Spectrum, and we're still on the line.
I just asked him. And we wait.
Well, just like baseball, we might have to call the pod on account of rain, but account of no internet for somebody.
Another thing that has to, they get paid to get rained out of a game.
It's the only sport that also does double headers. He does have Spectrum. Bastards.
Maybe his neighbors came back, man, and just cut the line.
The squatters.
Squatters, they're back.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and just wrap the pod up here. Thank you all for listening. We kind of meshed an opening tangent into a topic today with baseball and sports. And wait.
Dude, the rage that went through me. You two froze as I was talking. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Can anybody hear me? I don't even know.
We didn't freeze. You froze.
Yeah. Fucking Spectrum internet, man.
Jeez, man. Did you just run up the stairs? What are you doing?
I ran outside, asked Mary. I'm like, is your internet out? What the is going on? She's like, mine is fine. It's intermittent, but.
Did you sprint or did you like briskly walk? Did you jog? What'd you do?
Why?
I'm just wondering.
No, I just went outside my door here in a rage.
You did more in that moment than most baseball players do in an entire game.
That's true.
And
you guys are on the opposite side of each other.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you all for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. As I was saying, we kind of meshed our opening tangent into a topic with baseball and sports. This has been episode. What episode is this? 19?
22.
19. So we're still continuing on. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Go to our site, laidofflads.com. You can also email us anything you would like at laidofflads@gmail.com.
Yes.
And you have Spectrum. Good luck trying to do any of that because your net could probably go out at any point.
And here's a word from our proud sponsor of Spectrum.
Spectrum and LeBron.
There it is.
I had to get it in.
Talk to y'all next week. See you later.
Thanks for listening to the Laid Off Lads podcast. And if you're hiring, well, you know where to find us.